Welcome to the 2028 MLB The Show Minnesota Twins franchise opening day episode. You are about to see the defending World Series champs play against the San Francisco Giants. That has a nice ring to it. The Minnesota Twins, the defending World Series champions. We have, as you guys saw in the previous episode, we had some losses in the off season due to budget constraints, mainly. We do have some really great young prospects that are ready to come up. And those guys you might see today as they fill those positions. And also, right before we went on air, our owner wanted us to make some adjustments as far as the budget was concerned. So we did make some moves, but overall, I think it'll be a positive for the franchise, and we will face Kyle Harrison from the Giants, who at one time was an extremely promising pitcher and kind of fell on hard times in the last few years, and is trying to find his way and see if he can regain all of the stuff that the Giants and other teams saw in him from day one. And here is replacement number one, Cy McClelland, hitting leadoff for the Twins. And I just took that like I was going to hit it. I'm glad it was a ball. But I've told two different stories mistakenly on Cy McClelland. But McClelland this is the real story. So McClelland was by our management, we felt like he was one of the top 3 players in his draft. He was the only one of those 3 that fell, and he flies out to left field for out number 1. But he fell to us at 16. And there's the lineup right there. Jake McCarthy, normally hitting leadoff, and we'll explain a little bit more about him being back. Some Byron Buxton news as well. But McClelland at number 16, I believe in the another video I said he was the 18th pick, but he in fact was the 16th pick. Well, he chose to have his number be 16 to remind himself every day that 15 teams passed him up in the draft, and that the Twins selected him 16th, and that he would work that much harder every day to become one of the greatest players in baseball, and preferably with the Twins. So that's kind of a cool story. You know, you don't always hear that about the small market teams or the medium market teams, but Cy McClelland was so excited that the Minnesota Twins finally selected him in the first round and wanted to make his number 16 to honor them. So McCarthy goes down on strikes. Harrison looking like Tarek Skubal here. Byron Buxton thought he might regress as he's 35 now, I believe, in the game. But he's still a 99 overall. As you can see his stats there, he had 34 home runs, 114 RBIs, at 297 last year. A little surprisingly, his steals, like his speed, his steals, and his base running aggressiveness are very high, but he doesn't steal a lot of bases. But when you're the 3-hole hitter, you maybe not in that have that many opportunities. But we'll give you some news about Buxton here in just a minute. So Buxton hits that hard to right field. That's going to get past the right fielder. He's going to get at least 2. I'm sure he'll stop at second. And he does for a 2-out double. And if any one of you might be wondering why Logan Webb or Lenny Conrath, the generational talent, is not starting this game, apparently the Giants played 2 games before opening day, so they must have played in Japan or something, and those 2 guys pitched, I guess. So we're actually facing the Giants' 3rd starter. So the kid there grounds out to first, and the Giants lineup starts 1, 2, 3 with Gonzalez, Fitzgerald, and Ramos. Now here's Joe Ryan, the back-to-back Cy Young Award winner in the American League. How many times do you hear that for either league? Not very often. Not very often. Now, Jose Gonzalez, I believe, was a first-round pick of the Giants, and he was called up rather quickly. Yes, he was the first-round pick in 2026, and he started for them last year and led off for them. And he actually ended up finishing 3rd in the National League Rookie of the Year. So he had a decent season for not really playing AA or AAA ball. But he strikes out on that pitch by Ryan. That was just nasty. Threw it right by him. Tyler Fitzgerald to the plate. And because the Giants, played 2 games already, that's why you can see Tyler Fitzgerald with a 2.22 average in his first at bat, whereas normally on opening day he'd have a 0 average.
They really don't like working inside with 2 strikes because they do not want to hit that batter, and when they've got him up against the ropes, got to figure out a way to put him away.
In my view, that gives them a little bit of an advantage when you have 2 games under your belt, especially in the hitting department. Obviously it doesn't help your pitching staff because you're sending out your number 3 against our number 1. But anyway, a 3-2 count. And Ryan throws his heater at 95.
Count filled up 3-2.
And that slider was just sick right there. Almost unfair. So he strikes out Fitzgerald, and Helio Ramos has developed in the offseason. He did not play well last year, as you can see his stats, 235, 11, and 38. But he developed big time and looks to have a big year. He hits that far and deep, but McCarthy's under it, and he catches it right by the World Series signs for the Giants for out number 3.
Fly ball out to left field. McCarthy moving under this one.
So
Makes the grab, and that'll end the
that
inning.
is the
Scoreless
end of
after
the
one.
first. And we have our longtime catcher, Ryan Jeffers, up at the plate. He's been moved up to
Back here in
the
San
5
Francisco,
hole.
new inning getting started. Ryan Jeffers at the plate. This is a guy who
We'll
is very
explain
highly regarded
here in
defensively.
just a
Fun to
little
watch him
bit why
control
that's
stuff
the
behind the
case.
plate. Good game caller, good at framing, but it's that big arm that really stands out. Delivers a pitch in for a strike at 95.
You come into the game knowing that
Harrison looking really good so far.
Probably not going to steal anything today. So that's where you want to get a little more aggressive on your secondary lead.
And he throws just a nasty curveball
Some home runs can come
and just an unhittable pitch right there. So Luis Ariz has always been our number 2 hitter, and he's been moved to 6th in the lineup. Look at his stats last year: 329, 15 homers, 80 RBIs. And most of last year, we thought he was a goner. We thought there was no way we would be able to bring him back. But frankly, we had to bring him back, and happily so. But we have no first baseman in AAA that are ready to take over. And he was the most affordable and best first baseman on the market. So we went after him. But, we had to risk him being a free agent first. But thankfully, he wanted to come back to Minnesota.
Fouled off to the right.
So Ariz, the hit king, strikes out. Harrison is looking just phenomenal so far. So here's Brooks Lee. If you're a true Minnesota Twins fan, I think he has to be up there as one of your favorite guys. I believe he's 27 now. Some in the organization thought he would break out before now. Former first-round pick in the 2022 draft, but he just has not. But now he is going to get an opportunity to play. And the Twins and everybody else will get to see, what he has to offer. So he fouls that one off. 1-2 count.
Second inning here, no score.
Good eye there by Brooks Lee.
Fights it off, you'll see another.
Ooh. Brooks Lee just held back on that
This guy's a fun
to
guy
bring
to
the
watch
count
taking it
to
back. He just
full.
battles up there. He doesn't take a pitch off at all. Makes it so difficult.
And he strikes out on Harrison's 92-mile-per-hour fastball. But it wasn't the speed as much as it was the location. That location was pinpoint and nearly impossible to hit. So Nolan Gorman, a new addition to the Giants, we didn't see him last year unless he was, injured at the time or didn't play in the game that we played against them. But I would suspect that they got him in free agency this year to add some pop to their lineup.
Ryan back to work.
But just let that sink in for all the fans out there of this franchise. Joe Ryan is your back-to-back AL Cy Young Award winner. It's hard to win it one year, but back-to-back is, I have to believe, extremely difficult. And I think history shows that.
elevated, and if you're not looking up in that location, very difficult to catch up to, especially with that velocity.
So I'll go ahead and share some information about Byron Buxton. Buxton is actually 34, not 35, as I previously said, but and that was a pretty sick pitch by Ryan on the inside corner for strike number 3. Now Jonah Bride comes to the plate, probably another addition to the Giants club.
Goes down looking.
Well, just couldn't pull the trigger on the fastball right there, and I don't
But
think he
Byron
was
Buxton,
thinking it might be a foul ball or anything. I just think he was flat out
for
frozen.
anyone
Did not
that
expect
watched the
location,
last
in my opinion.
episode,
Jonah Bride in the box with one
he
away
again, I know there's not loyalties in this game. There's not a hometown discount or players that will take less money, necessarily just to stay in a place that they love. But Byron Buxton had in his contract the option to opt out this season, and he did not. And
a sweeper misses for a ball.
I'm still kind of taken aback because he's only going to be making about $14.1 million this year. And with him as a 99 overall, he would have commanded $40 million on the open market. Jonah Bride goes deep, but that's going to go foul. He would have easily commanded close to 3 times, if not more, that kind of money and additional years on that.
And that's a foul ball.
Well, instead, he chose to honor his contract and stay with the Twins for the final year. I just thought that was fascinating, and it again, I get it that it's not like they have heart in this game, or guys that just really want to stay in one place, and so they'll take a lot less money. But that's what Buxton did for whatever reason. I have no idea, but you got to love him even more for that. I mean, how cool is that? And to make room for the Twins to be able to do other things, with their money. But what we did is we, before spring training, and this was done off camera, but we did offer him a 2-year extension. He really didn't want a 1-year extension, but he would accept a 2-year extension. We believe that if he doesn't stay a 99, that he'll stay, in the mid to lower 90s at the very end of that contract. If for some reason he doesn't, there's always the option to attempt to trade him, even if we don't get a good prospect in return, just to get him off the books. We can probably trade him to the Yankees or the Red Sox or somebody like that. And Ryan just mows through the Giants hitters. There's Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco. The 8, 9, and 1 hitters will be coming up for the Twins. But anyway, Buxton next year will start making $40 million per year for next year and the following year. But when he's your best overall player, he had an 8.8 WAR last year. That's kind of a deal, or kind of a steal. But we did get in a little trouble by ownership for making that deal. And I'll have to share with you in a minute what happened. So Keyshaw hits that deep. I don't know if that's Helio Ramos, but it looks like it is. He makes the catch in foul territory in left field. So if you guys will notice, your starting third baseman for your Twins is Kalen Culpepper, the number 19 overall prospect in all of baseball. And his first at bat is a base hit.
First pitch misses.
Boog, this guy's definitely a plus runner, but what I love about him is that he goes all out every single time, never takes a break. It's guys like that.
I'm telling you guys, we have kids that can play ball. And here's Cy McClellan.
Anytime you rip a line drive the other way, you feel really good about what you did at the plate. You trusted your hands, you let the ball travel, and you took the barrel
He hit
straight to it.
391 in limited time last year. That's just absolutely amazing.
Back to the leadoff spot in the Twins lineup.
Major league pitching.
McClellan getting ready to hit.
0-1. He might want to steal second in this spot, but he's dealing with a catcher that has one of the best
We did look, and there is Cy McClellan, the number one prospect in all of baseball. I think he's the clear-cut number one.
In the dirt.
Close to a generational, if not generational, type player. I don't mean a generational player in the game, but generational in real life, if you will. So he grounds out to Matt Chapman, who throws him out. It does move the runner to second. Jake McCarthy up. Lefty versus lefty. McCarthy hits that to left field. Will Ramos get to it? And he does. So Ramos with enough speed to save a run for Kyle Harrison and the Giants. And there's Adames again, hitting seventh for the Giants. They paid him so much money, and I promise you it wasn't just for his fielding. It was a lot for his hitting, and yet he's hitting 7-hole for them for 2 straight years. So not quite sure about that, but that's up to the Giants manager, of course. We did look to extend David Vesta, who had an absolutely amazing year. And Adames hits that off the wall. Walker does a good job of playing it off the wall. But Adames will be in easily at second for a double. So not a great way to start the inning for the Twins. But Vesta was wanting a 5-year contract at about $27 million. Well, again, as I've said this before, if we were one of the big market teams, we could absorb that probably, but with Bailey Ober and Joe Ryan already getting paid close to $30 million, there's just no way that we could do that. And then, of course, with Buxton, his salary going up to $40 million next year, there was absolutely no way. So we had to decline that. Now, the good thing is that I believe he will have to go to arbitration this year, at the end of this year. So we should get him for a lot less than $27 million. We had spent so much money that when we went to re-sign Chris Bubich, one of our lefty relievers, who is an 89 or 90 overall, the CPU said, no way. And I took that as ownership saying, absolutely not. So we got kind of put on a spending freeze. I just, for kicks and giggles, I looked at Simeon Woods Richardson.
Eighth pitch of the at-bat coming up.
And a good pitch by Ryan to get Bailey to pop out. Culpepper. But Woods Richardson was wanting a 5-year contract worth about $25 million. So obviously, for a fourth or fifth starter, we could not afford that either.
Nice ride up in the zone right there. Hitter looked like he was on it, but I think that velocity at the end just beat him. Instead of a line drive or something hit deep, it's a pop-up and an easy out for the defense.
Matt Wallner was wanting $22 million a year. Oh, nice play by Keyshaw. Second in the Gold Glove award last year. Makes a great backhanded play. Now here's Jose Gonzalez, the leadoff hitter for the Giants. Runner at third, 2 outs, no score.
So up next, Jose Gonzalez.
Good thing about Woods Richardson as well is that he will have to go to arbitration for the next 2 years. And so we should be able to pay him quite a bit less than his asking price, as he's only making $6.6 million this year. And that was going through arbitration. And it looks like Besta has 2 more years under arbitration, and he's only making $7.5 million this year, so we're in good shape for the next couple years. Oh, and Ryan just freezes Gonzalez for out number 3. So the Twins get out of it by good defense and great pitching from Joe Ryan.
He's in a tough spot, had to make a great pitch, did it, got the strikeout, gets out of the jam. Clearly, he's happy with those results.
And we're back. John Sciambi with Chris Singleton, and set to lead off the fourth, Byron Buxton.
So, arguably our best player, Byron Buxton, up to the plate with no outs. And the hitter that hit just before him, Jake McCarthy, we've just been so impressed with what he's done for us since he's arrived here. He's only 30 years old, and so we did extend him out for just 2 years. And the thing is it did cost us, or will cost us, about $25 million a year. I know that seems like a lot, but those that have seen his stats throughout his Twin career, he's well worth it. Here's Walker Jenkins, the reigning American League Rookie of the Year. When you look at him, I call him the kid, but he just looks like a man. Like a guy you would not want to meet in the back alley of any place. That one he pops up on for out number 2. So that brings Jeffers to the plate.
Drops into the glove, and there are 2 outs.
Now batting, catcher Ryan Jeffers.
But because of the owners coming down so hard on us to get the salaries down. Even though they made good money, especially with all the home games, including the World Series and the World Series victory. You know, they're happy with us overall, but the front office really demanded that we do whatever we have to do to cut down on our salaries. Now, what a play by Cy McClellan. He doesn't make it, or he doesn't, get Fitzgerald out at a first, but he does stop it. Wow, thank God that hit the first base coach, or else that runner may have been at second.
Well, clearly he was ready to hit right there. That's one of those you classify as just
So here's Helio Ramos, one that improved tremendously in the offseason. And if you guys remember, in 2024, there were three guys by the name of Paul Skeens, Jackson Churio, and Jackson Merrill that got all the publicity for Rookie of the Year. And there sat Helio Ramos, just going out every day and hitting bombs and hitting for a pretty good average. And no one ever talked about him, but he put up great numbers as a rookie. And any other year, he might have won the Rookie of the Year. And on a nasty pitch by Ryan, he strikes out.
Swings through it, and that's a strikeout.
Quite the start to this game.
So Nolan Gorman, the former Cardinal, up to the plate. Can Ryan Jeffers get Fitzgerald? Not even close.
Nolan Gorman will hit next. His first at bat was a strikeout.
I didn't know if that was on the pitcher or on the catcher, but I think it was. I mean, ultimately it's on the pitcher because because Fitzgerald got such a huge jump. I mean, he was running before Ryan ever started to pitch, it seemed like. So no wonder he stole that. But the unfortunate news for longtime Twins fans is that we did have to make a couple trades per the owners. One of those was Matt Wallner, a longtime Twin, maybe a Twin his whole career. I don't quite remember. He's been a Twin as long as I can remember. But Wallner is 30 years old. He's B potential, but he is an 89, so he's kind of maxed out his potential. And after the break, I will let you know who we traded him to and why and who we got in return. So a nasty pitch by Ryan.
A lot of adrenaline, we can see it right there.
So Ryan and Harrison have a duel going on. Now Ryan is killing him in strikeouts. Look at those strikeouts for Ryan. 9 Ks and 4 innings.
Welcome back. Quite a pitcher's duel so far.
Luis Ariz, I'll always think of him as our number 2 hitter, but for now he will be our number 6 hitter. Oh, and he strokes that, but it's going to be foul.
Harrison back to work. And that's downstairs. Ball 1.
Well, these Twins just aren't putting great
A
swings
lot
on
of,
the baseball in this one.
there's some
Just
people that
one
think
extra base hit
Arise
for him,
just
so they have
smashes
to keep
right-handed
hitting the
pitching
ball gap to
and
gap
struggles
out at
against
the home.
left-handed
That
pitching,
makes it
but
really difficult to
he
generate runs.
actually is almost as good of a contact hitter versus lefties as he is righties, which is just amazing to me. But for Matt Wallner, I looked and I looked and I looked,
Well, that's always the
and
key to effective
the
pitching is
only
getting ahead of the
team
count.
that I
That's a
saw
pitcher that
that
really allows you to start
appeared to be
expanding the zone.
competing
Hitters become defensive, and all of a sudden that plate starts to get
this
really
year,
wide.
that
And what
they had made
happens is
moves
because of the
to
pressure,
compete
you end up committing to a pitch as a
and that
batter before
desperately
you
needed
recognize
a
what it
right
is, and that's what
fielder.
leads to the
In fact, they
strikeout.
may have had like a 66 overall starting in right field.
Well, on the mound,
So
very
Wallner will
efficient,
be a
able to
huge
produce an
upgrade, but
outcome, it seems like, within the third or fourth
we
pitch of just about every
we
at bat.
did get a relief pitcher, 19-year-old, 67 overall, C prospect. But the prize of the trade was Mackenzie Wales, a closing pitcher. He's 23. He's a potential, and he's 69 overall. So on the surface, it kind of seems like maybe the Twins won that trade. But when you're already 23 and you're only a 69, it's up in the air if you're going to ever really realize that a potential, because you only have a few more years really of growth. So we will take that risk, and felt like he will replace at least one of our aging bullpen guys. That's our hope.
And now it's even up.
Something kind of funny, I did throw out Byron Buxton before we re-signed him, who in Keyshaw strokes that one to center field for a base hit. So a 2-out single for Luke Keyshaw. Here's Culpepper up, 1 for 1 on the day. Oh, and he's 2 for 2 on the day as he strokes that past Adames. Adames and Chapman both. So Minnesota, they now have runners at first and second.
Sharp grounder, that's through for a base hit.
But just for kicks, I threw out Byron Buxton in the trade block for anybody, and the Cubs offered Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Pete Crow Armstrong, and a C prospect, which was crazy to me because Vlad's still only 28. I do apologize for the dogs. They will stop in just a second as my family is home, I believe.
Can't glove it cleanly. Still manages a throw. Won't come much closer than that. Bang, bang play to end the inning. And welcome back to the ballpark. Now, Matt Chapman.
So double play. Oh, McCarthy gets on an error, and he steals second base. Buxton with a double, and he knocks McCarthy home to put Minnesota up by 1 in the top of the 6th. Here's Walker Jenkins. and they change pitchers. They go to Eric Miller. He strikes out. Jeffers pops up. So 1, 2, 3. All right, Ryan went 6 solid innings, had 10 Ks. Let's make a pitching change. Let's go with Cole Sands. Fly out. A walk. Pop up. Fielder's choice. Single by McClelland. He steals the bag. McCarthy bunts him over. Again, I apologize. Our dogs act as if they have never seen us every time we come home. I think everyone can understand that has dogs. Arise walks. Brooksley flies out. Keyshaw walks. Culpepper lines out.
Ball 4, take your base. Ball 4, take your base. You're out.
So the Twins have defeated the Giants 2-0. So the last trade that we did have to make was, unfortunately, we did have to trade Royce Lewis, who was making $25 million a year. The prize of the deal was we traded him to the Angels, and we got an A potential 23-year-old starting pitcher, 71 overall, Marlon Shelley. So again, he's not a for sure thing because he's already 23 years old, but we will hope that they turn into great players for us, great pitchers. And that's opening day for your defending World Series champs, Minnesota Twins. Hope to see you guys soon. Come back and see us next time. Take care, guys.